I broke up with my then BF 3 months ago because I thought he had stolen $846 from me. I had just found the money. I can't say this on my main account and I need to write this out, but oh my god, I messed up. I messed up badly. I just found the money. It was in the chest of drawers I put it in, but the drawer I put it in had a small opening in the back I didn't know was there, and the envelope of money fell down there. I would never have discovered it, but the drawers broke, so I was taking the chest apart, and there was the envelope. It's the same envelope because it has my handwriting on it and the receipt from the bank. I have to apologize, but this is going to be so bad. I told my friends and family about this, about how I suspected that he had stolen from me, since he was the only one in the house that day. No one else had a key, and I haven't left that room or my house with the money. God, he lost mutual friends because of me. I ended a 2-year relationship over this. I just didn't believe him when he said he didn't take it. I heard him for no reason and then I blocked him. An apology won't be enough. I'm gonna contact him tomorrow and then I'll tell everyone else. Wow, I messed up. After you apologize to him, you need to make sure you tell everyone. I doubt he will want to speak to anyone who didn't believe him, but they should still know the truth. She destroyed her relationship, destroyed his relationships, and destroyed his trust without any evidence. OP seriously messed up. Irrationally messed up. You have to defend him as loud as you slandered him. Much, much louder. It's easier to slander someone than lift them up. Over 30 years ago, I lived with the guy that I really loved. His sister came to visit and lost a couple $100. I got blamed for taking it. It was ugly. I cried so hard and just couldn't understand how anybody would think I would steal from them, especially him. We split up. She found it not long after I left. Even this many years later, I think about that every now and then, and it still hurts that I was called a thief when they were the ones that lost their own money. I lost some friends during all of that. It sucks. My older sister's friend lost a $20 bill at our house. Everyone suspected my younger cousin, even though I insisted she was with me the whole time. Lots of drama ensued. The friend finally found the $20 in her bra hours later. I will never forget how no one apologized. I had a Ziploc with $1 coins that I lost beginning of COVID. No one in my house but me and hubby. Remembering this event from my childhood, I was very clear that I didn't suspect my husband. Guess what? I found the Ziploc of coins when we moved 3 months ago. I would have literally torn the chest apart looking for it before I just assumed my longtime partner took it. You messed up. That's what I was saying. Like, you've loved this person for 2 years. How could you assume they took it? I would have assumed the chest freaking absorbed it. My mom and her boyfriend kicked me out and I spent months homeless. I just moved into my own place yesterday, and after my landlord left, I just broke down and sobbed. I can't even begin to explain how hard not having a place to call home is. It was so scary and humiliating. It was also not easy seeing parents being loving and caring towards their children. I would ask myself why my mom wasn't like that. Fortunately, I had a job, but still the dread of having to look for somewhere safe to sleep after work while people were going home was the worst. The feeling of complete hopelessness was overwhelming. I felt like I would never get out of the situation, but regardless, I pushed myself because the only person who could get me out of that situation was me. I took it one day at a time and always pestered my boss for more hours, and I saved every penny. I ate once a day to be economical because I just wanted to get out as soon as I could. Once in a blue moon, I'd spend a night at a cheap motel just to get some rest. The guilt would eat me up because it felt like a waste, but sometimes you just need the break. Just one night of sleeping on a bed in a safe-ish and private space, then I would go back to my normal anxiety-riddled life the next day. I was a wreck, but the fact that I was working towards something kept me going. I couldn't give up, and finally, I had saved up enough to get a place. I was happy, but I didn't want to get too excited until it was official. It's hard to explain the feeling. Now that I've moved in, I'm relieved. It's bare, but it's my home. It took a lot, and sometimes I didn't believe in myself, but I'm glad that I made it to this point. Hey, from one internet stranger to another, good on you. You persevered through a bad situation that wasn't your own doing, and came out on top. Keep kicking butt. Taking care of yourself and growing. You got this. Congrats on your new place. Check Facebook Marketplace and upcycle to furnish it. Female parent. She isn't a mom because a mom wouldn't do this to a child no matter your age. I'm proud of you. You broke the cycle and you deserve all the happiness. I was once in your shoes, but with 2 young daughters. It was hard, and I felt like the world was crumbling beneath me. It's a hard cycle to get out of, and I'm super happy for you. Take care. Way to go. I wish you so much luck as you move into a happier and safer phase in your life. I watched my boyfriend get a black eye last night. We went to the fair last night and traffic was terrible. We were in our parking spot trying to get into the line out of the fair for about 10 minutes before my boyfriend lost his cool and got out of his car to get the guy behind us to pull forward. He was not polite about it. He was screaming and causing a scene. Though let the record show he didn't touch the guy or his car. The guy ended up getting out of his car and punched my boyfriend in the face. My boyfriend was humbled, recollected himself somewhat, and got back in the car without really reacting. About 5 minutes later, the guy ends up getting out of his car again and comes up to our car. He tried to get my boyfriend to get out of the car to fight and tried to open the driver door. But my boyfriend didn't let him open the door. He punched him through the window twice. Oh my god. At that point, my boyfriend got out of the car and went towards the entrance yelling for the police. The guy just ran off on foot while we spent the next hour-ish talking to the police, though nothing came of it other than the ending of the confrontation. The fairgrounds medical team looked at him and thought he was concussed. He had a black eye, busted lip, and he was bleeding from his ear. They ended up directing traffic to let us in the line so we could get to the hospital and have him checked out. My boyfriend has a history of road rage, but I didn't anticipate it biting him in the ass like this. Hopefully it was a learning moment for him. He's mostly okay now, but I'm still a little shaken. While I don't think people should be assaulting others, there is also a ton of people like your boyfriend that think they can go around acting like a-holes with no consequences. He needs to work on his anger before he gets you two killed. My boyfriend was humbled and recollected himself. I'm sorry, but this has me dying. I know assault is not funny. Getting punched in the face is pretty humbling. Everyone has a plan until they get punched in the mouth. Mike Tyson. Wonder why the guy came back again. That's what gets me, especially after he got a good lick on him to begin with. And then he runs off and leaves his car there, which is making me laugh, TBH. My mom is an influencer, and I hate her for it. Long post, my mom, F45, has become a Facebook influencer. I, F16, used to not care when she took photos, but it's gotten crazy. Everything she does is now posted or live streamed online. Even if somewhere says don't photograph or film, she'd find a way to film it. It was annoying at first, and now it's downright frustrating, especially since 3 months ago, when she got really into it. I also completely understand the irony of me posting this on Reddit, but I just need someone to hear me out. I declined my 16th birthday party, so she threw a giant party claiming it was for her anniversary, my brother's graduation, and my birthday. There were 150 guests, and between my dad, my brother, and myself, we only covered 30 of them. I don't even know how much of that party she wasn't on her screen for, since she was constantly filming and uploading it. Along with a lot of her friends, I really wanted to perform there. I practiced for months, but the idea of her filming and uploading it made me nervous, so I backed down. I don't like being photographed or filmed. Even as a kid I didn't. Another time we went on vacation and every second it was filmed. When we got to a hotel, we weren't allowed in until she recorded the room, even if we just drove for 8 hours and wanted to sleep. She'd take her time in areas she could photograph, even if it was a rock. Actual thing. But when me, my dad, and my brother tried to enjoy a non-aesthetic place, I felt rushed, like she wanted to just go. If we got food, she didn't let us eat or move the food until photos and videos were taken. Even having us pose with the food or announce what it is. That one annoyed me. One time we traveled by car and it was over 10 hours since we ate. When we got a chance to eat dinner, she took my food before I got a chance and was recording it saying things like, "Ooh, how delicious." And I was so tired and hungry, I just gave up and started tearing up. On the vacation, when we went on a boat, but she was live streaming. She was calling out followers, thanking them and saying how much she loved them all. The boat was going to check out Alcatraz, and I thought it was so disrespectful, especially because it was a public area and not everyone wants to be filmed. And also, the history of the island makes me feel that it needs to be respected and not treated as a background to a video. One thing that made me want to write this post was because I was trying to get a drink out of the soda machine, and she had me pour out the ice from the cup so she could record me doing it for a shot. I have a certain ice to soda ratio I like, and it was perfect the first time. After that, I didn't get it correct, and it was just a damper on an already not so great day. After that, she held up my soda and was showing it off to the camera, and I had to just wait until she was done. Another thing is, I've started to envy her followers. She gives them so much more attention than me. She goes off on my dad about how much closer I am with him than her, but I asked to watch a movie with her and she declines. Her reasoning is always that she has a live stream later she's hosting, or a video to film, or her followers are live. She turned me down so many times I stopped even trying to hang out with her, since if I do get her around, she's on her phone. One time I asked for her opinion, and she snapped that she was tired from her job and that she needed time to post. She live streams so much that I sometimes have to skip meals because she can't have the background noise, and she live streams in the middle of the kitchen. She live streams for hours, and if she had any issue with the internet, she makes everyone power down their devices so she can get a better connection. The most attention she's given me recently was recorded. I was in a dance class, and the only time she looked at me was when she was recording what I was doing. The instructor praised me to them for my work multiple times, and she didn't even notice. I checked, and she was watching a live stream. I feel like I'm going crazy. When she posts about me, I feel exposed, like I have no control. My dad keeps saying she views the world through lens, and I have no clue if this is how parents are nowadays, but it's terrible. I'm so sorry if anyone else has to grow up like this. I often wonder how influencers' kids really feel. That sounds awful, OP. She sounds very neglectful, and you don't deserve that. Guessing she has her followers believing that she's an incredible mom. Congrats for ruining my favorite restaurant, and yes, I am breaking up with you. I was having brunch with your forking mother, which you knew because I told you that morning when you text me saying you have reservations at my favorite restaurant all of a sudden. I love that place, but it's a pretty long drive and it's pricey, so the last time we went there was our 3-year dating anniversary. So of course your mother thinks you're gonna propose. Your older brother just got married, your younger sister's engaged, everyone is just waiting for us to get engaged and has been nudging us about it. So the date comes, even your mother texts me, hope to hear good news, and honestly, I thought you were going to propose too. I would have been okay with it and said yes. But no, You frickin' piece of garbage. You took me to my favorite restaurant and tell me that you cheated on me with your coworker, that you said I had nothing to worry about. The B that you called just your work wife. You keep saying that it was just a one-time mistake and you want to make things work. I don't want to make things work. I hate you and your work wife. Go work marry her instead. Now I'm here fielding frickin' messages from all over your relatives that fishing for news because your mother was so certain it was going to be a proposal that she told everyone about our dinner date. Meeting you was the greatest regret of my life. And the only thing that I'll miss is that your family, for all their faults, were genuinely loving and good people that I enjoyed having in my life. I won't miss you. What an absolutely bad thing for them to do. I'm sorry, OP. You dodged a bullet, OP. I'm sorry this happened to you, and I'm sorry that you wasted so much time on this person, but at least you didn't marry them and then have to untangle things. And listen, you can take the restaurant back. My now ex told me she cheated on me at Disney World. Most magical place on Earth, right under the Epcot ball. You think I'm gonna let that a-hole take Disney from me? I think not. Nowadays I go there, I walk past the same spot, I think about it, and laugh. I'm sorry, OP. If I was you, I would reply to each text with, he brought me out to a fancy dinner to confess to having an affair for months with a coworker. Don't lie for him. You'll be just fine. Living your life well is a good revenge. I'm so sorry, OP. I would make sure everyone knows what a lying a-hole cheater he is, and then focus on healing. You'll get through this. I wish you all the best, OP. That guy has some super special issues. Go work marry her instead. I love this sentence too much. Wishing you armfuls of love and luck moving on from that loser. My sister's kid said her first word to me. I was babysitting and just cuddling and talking to her, and when I said hello, she said it back. It was so sweet. I'm sure this was her first word, because otherwise my sister would have told me already. It's their first kid, and my sister and her husband are both excited, and I feel like it would crush them knowing they missed this milestone. It feels bad keeping this from them, but I think it's better if I don't tell them so they can experience her first word themselves, right? Aw, my nephew did this, but it was in front of his mom. I walked in and said, "Hi, cutesy, good morning," and he smiled and said hi. I melted. She was pissed. A secret you take to your grave. You have a glorious opportunity. Teach her to say, "Hello world." I think you're right not to say anything about it, and also probably never mention it to them even after she starts talking. I can see someone starting drama over, "OMG, why didn't you tell us? Blah, 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 blah." Just make a huge fuss over it when they bring her over and announce it themselves. What? What word? You were hearing things. First words and steps are parent privilege. Yeah. Let them hear her first word. You are such a good person for keeping it to yourself. I'm not at that point yet, but my baby rolled over for the first time yesterday, and I would have been crushed if someone told me I missed it. Yeah, keep it to yourself. No harm is caused then. I worked for many, many years as a nanny, and these are things you take to your grave. Just love the moment and keep it to yourself. You're a good sister. Ask your sister if she said any words yet, then if she says no, lie. Otherwise, you can tell her. I actually feel like that wouldn't be a bad idea. Maybe in the future you can tell her and it'll be a funny story. I am really starting to resent my boomer mother. My sister and I are children of a single mother. Our father has never been in the picture, and our mother never seeked child support for us. I'd like to preface this by saying my mother is our hero. She did it all by herself in a time that was hard for single women and provided a great life for us. She was a factory worker that worked on the line starting at 18 years old, the summer out of high school. She bought a 2-bedroom home in Toronto near the lakefront at 23 years old by herself after 5 years of working at the factory. She retired at 48 years old, 30 years in, with full pension and her house paid off. She is 65 years old now and hasn't worked a day in 17 years. She is constantly telling my sister and I, 30s, that we need to buy a house and stop wasting money on rent. By the time I was your age, I already had 10 years of equity into the house. When pressed on maybe helping my sister and I buy a house, she states she doesn't have any means to help, which is true with no income. But she follows that up with, "I didn't get any help when I bought my first home." Well, her first home was $77,000, which was 3 times her annual income. I make about $70,000 a year, and the average price of homes for a 2-bedroom in my area is $700,000, 10 times my annual income. The cheapest home for sale in a 100-kilometer radius is $613,000 for a townhouse with condo fees. Our mother looks at this and simply says, "You have to do what you have to do. Get a third job. Start delivering for Uber Eats. Unsubscribe to Netflix." She always ends the discussion with, "I see people younger than you moving into homes in this town, so you kids must be doing something wrong. Others are affording homes, why can't you?" I try to tell her that most of those people are getting help from their parents through HELOC. My favorite line has been, What did you do 4 years of university for if your job can't afford you a starter home? I work in a forensic lab and appear in court as an expert witness on major criminal cases. That's why I went to university for 4 years. The fact she doesn't understand that the world is so drastically different now than when she was my age is really starting to put a strain on our relationship. They also forget that credit scores were introduced in 1989. I'm a boomer and I understand all the problems facing our youth. She's got her head in the sand and that's on her. Boomer uncle's bad girlfriend tried to go off about the current economy, which she does not understand at a recent family event. I spent a lot of time explaining that she, a retired government worker with a federal pension in her late 60s, early 70s, literally has no frame of reference for what things are like now. I finally have health insurance, but no PTO or sick vacation time at a full-time job in a literally life or death industry. I repeatedly acknowledged how essential her job was to the country running and how everyone should receive benefits from dedicating full-time hours to a career. And like, this woman is also anti-union. Lol. The lights are on, but no one but old, inaccurate propaganda is home. Remind her you'd easily be able to buy a house if boomers hadn't pulled the ladder up from behind themselves as their lives improved, doing their level best to ensure wages stagnated and basic living would become unaffordable for the kids and their grandkids. My best friend doesn't like that I'm engaged. Katie and I have known each other for 15 years now, and for that whole time, she never has been single. She has bounced from relationship to relationship, never staying single for more than a few weeks, where I have been single for the majority of that time. I had always joked that I was aromantic and how the only way I would ever get with a guy would be if he was really rich. So I never had to work again. I just focused on my career and started my own business and forgot about men instead. Then one day, Jay came into my work looking for business and we got talking. I didn't even realize he was flirting with me until after he asked me for my number and we had been texting for a while, and I realized we weren't talking about business at all. After a while of talking, we went for dinner. Both our schedules were busy, so it took a while, but we made it work, and eventually we ended up in a relationship. I find our relationship very relaxed, I think because we both run our own businesses and we are both very busy. We make time for each other, but our time apart makes our time together that much more special. Once our relationship became serious, Katie's attitude changed. She started asking me when I'm gonna break up with Jay, but I told her I had no plans to. She then reminded me that I wanted a rich man who could take care of me, but I said that I was only joking and I'm not that shallow, nor am I 18 anymore. She backed off for a bit, but when I told her I was getting engaged, she told Jay he had to start earning more money because once we got married, I would stop working. She said it in a joking manner, but I knew there was venom behind her words. I don't understand why she is so angry at me for finally being in a long-term relationship. She's acting like a toddler. It sounds like she's jealous that you're engaged and she's not. My best friend couldn't deal with my getting my dream job. She kept trying to convince me to quit and go back to school, even set me up with people in different fields to try and convince me. We no longer speak, but you still have a shot at saving your friendship if Katie cooperates. You can tell her what you told us and ask her WTF. She has the choice. She can either drop the jilted bestie act, or she can continue the act without you in the audience. Good luck and congratulations. She seems to want what you have. She's not a good friend then if she can't be happy for you. She's not your friend. The sooner you accept it, the sooner you can see her for what she is. This is the type of friend that will try and test your BF loyalty. Just move on. She's ugly jealous. I just dropped a bomb in a Starbucks. Holy shit, there's no way. Alright, I-22F was just in a Starbucks. Starbucks. I sat there for a few hours to get some work done and had about 3 coffees. I decided to run to the bathroom before I left and sat down to do my thing. Now mind you, I'm currently visiting my boyfriend. We do long distance. I'm sure many women can relate when I tell you I haven't had a poo in like 5 or 6 days. We've eaten Chipotle, we've eaten burgers, Wagamama, etc. I haven't pooed once. My body just won't do it when I'm not at home. I'm not in control of it all. It just doesn't happen. However, come today, I've had 3 coffees in a few hours. I'm PMSing. My body's a bit out of whack, so back to Starbucks. I suddenly feel the urge to take a poop. Excuse my language. When it comes out, it feels fine, but kind of sharp. I don't think too much of it until I get up and look at it. It is massive. It was right there, staring back at me as if it had just ruined the rest of my freaking already bad day, no pun intended. I try to flush it, and everything but the poop flushes. It doesn't even bend or anything. It just floats back up as if it's mocking me. I try to wash my hands to give the toilet some time to reload or whatever, and then try to flush it again. It disappears for a second, but then reappears. It's still completely intact, again mocking me. All while this is happening, I'm panic texting my boyfriend, telling him I don't know what to do. Do I grab it and throw it? What? Do I crush it with the toilet brush? We figured the second option is the better one, so I try to crush it with the toilet brush, and while I'm doing this, someone grabs the handle of the door and knocks, and I try not to panic even more. I turn the sink on to make them think I'm washing my hands, but my time is running out. I go to flush one last time, in the hopes that now 3 slightly smaller pieces will finally surrender. There's no hope left for that poor toilet brush, who just minutes ago was blissfully unaware of the tragedy about to strike. I push the flush lever, it flushes. My last hope. I think surely it'll disappear now, and just when I think I'm finally safe to have a slightly awkward escape past the inevitable queue outside the toilet, the bits reappear and they're still floating. I eventually toss a bunch of paper on top of the bits to hide them, but it's impossible to hide them. I grab my things and bolt out of there, rushing past the queue of 4 people, including one very concerned looking man. I'm never, ever, ever going back to that Starbucks. And to the people in the queue and the employees of the Starbucks, I'm so sorry you had to see that. This lady needs a porta-poop knife. As someone that had to clean public restrooms a long time ago, please do not cover it with toilet paper. That does not help, and it makes it so much worse. I'm sorry this happened to you. Glad you, got it out. I've had to clean women's rooms. Please never try to cover the shame with TP, or anything else for that matter. It only makes things worse for when we have to go in there and deal with it. 100% would rather deal with a whole log than 1,000 floating bits in their tiny paper capes. Staring back at you, that turd gave you the evil eye. This sucks and I'm sorry it happened to you, but this was also kind of funny. However, what gets me is 5 to 6 days without pooping? What? How? How is every poop not a monster? Missed opportunity to ask the barista where they keep the poop knife. Yeah, that's a Reddit joke. Lol, everyone poops. But other than the embarrassing situation, you must have felt so much better. Lighter. Fact, the human colon can hold up to 10 pounds of feces. And that really fun fact is where we're gonna end today's video. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure to leave a like, comment down below, subscribe if you're new, turn on post notifications so you can get notified every time this channel uploads. Thank you so much for watching again, and have a wonderful rest of your day. Bye-bye!